All right, all right. Here we are, guys, gals. We are back. I know a lot of y'all have been asking. I appreciate y'all doing that too, man. Y'all be asking me when I'm on Terrible Towel. Hey, man, what's going on with you and Smitty? Y'all still good? And the funny thing is, before we dive into this video, of course we still good. Of course we still good. Like I don't want people to think like how come people think that as soon as you see that people aren't. What evidence shows that me and Smitty or Azure ain't good? Of course we still good, man. But we've been away for a while. This happened to us last year. Life is just happening, man. You guys who watch my Steelers stuff, y'all know my son, his basketball going on and the different things popping it up on Thursday nights for whatever reason. His practices was on Thursday or his basketball workouts. And every now and then Smitty has things going on with family. We're older now, and I'm not saying that literally. I'm just saying we do different things now. We're into different things now. So sometimes we're not always available. But here's the solution. For you guys that are watching this premiere right now, notice I said premiere. We're not live. I talked to Smitty a few weeks ago. I said, hey, man, what do you think about us maybe doing a pre-recorded show? Like a real podcast. Most of those are not live, right? And we agreed, like, yeah, let's do that. Maybe on Wednesday nights, which it is now, we'll come in here, we'll record, and we'll show it on Thursday so everybody can still be used to the time, 8 p.m. Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. However, there will be times when we will still do live shows. We'll let you guys know that via Twitter. What's it called now? X. Via X, we'll let y'all know we're going to be live. And we may not be as regular. Smitty and I had talked about, maybe we'll do every other week or something like that. But it all depends on our availability as well as what the topic is. Because if something hot comes out, we'll find time, even if we got to jump on for 20 minutes and talk about something. So just wanted to give y'all that introduction. But for the most part, we are back. We appreciate the demand. I guess Smitty and I are still respected out there in these social media streets because y'all been asking. So here we are. And tonight, what we're going to cover, we're going to talk about a little bit about the Super Bowl. We might get into the game itself, maybe a touch on halftime show. I don't know. We don't want to spend too much time on that. But we really want to talk about how it relates to stuff that we still would like to see on the virtual gridiron in terms of pass rush. We'll get into that. And then we want to talk a little bit about the state of the NBA. Why is it being perceived as being weak? Why is the viewership down? And how things have kind of gone after All-Star break. So that's what we're going to cover. I'm going to throw it to Smitty, man. If anything you want to get into before we dive right into the Super Bowl, anything you want to say to the people, feel free.
Yeah, man. No, first of all, glad to be back on here, putting this out here and everything, Pistons is balling, they balling right now. Red Wings, they're still figuring it out, but they're doing better. They had to get rid of their one head, their coach or manager or what have you, and then now they playing. They're playing a bit better anyways. Lions did the best they could do. They were depleted, completely depleted, and they just did what they could. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing I did say, and I just think about it now, I'll go back to it. The Lions lost that game. The Commanders didn't win that game because the Lions should have won that handedly. And even with all those injuries, Lions still should have won that game. Now, I give credit to the Commanders, but that's why I was like, when they lost, because certain people was tweeting at me and all that stuff and everything like that. And that's why I said when they got destroyed by the Eagles, that's why I was, I had to say a few things here and there because folk was acting like, they was like, yeah, Commanders, let's go. I'm like, y'all ain't do nothing. Relax. Like, y'all need to just chill out. Y'all gonna get mollywopped next week. Just relax. Like, y'all not making no noise. Calm down. And that's exactly what happened. So
They
it's
did.
like,
Yeah.
y'all not, like, if we had, I'm like, we had over 20 players on IR, and we had another 2 key guys get hurt during the game. So it's like, if we had 8 guys back, y'all were going home that week. So it's like, relax. You know what I'm saying? And that was the whole thing with that. It's like, no, like But like I said, they competed, they ended up winning the game, etc. At the end of the day, both of our teams were sitting at home, and Philly went, and they got to they got the Super Bowl. But no, I mean, I commend the Lions. I commend the team. The cost of being a great team is seeing how depleted they became.
Yeah.
You lost all those coordinators. You lost all those coaches. I personally don't like the fact that they had that. I wish the NFL would change the rule, make a rule for it. Coaches, coordinators, all that stuff cannot be tampered with until the season is officially done. You know what I'm saying? Because it made it look like Ben Johnson was clearly preoccupied doing all this other stuff, getting everything figured out, and then you go out there and loaf it. Because the way that game was play called was very sketchy to me. So it's like, to do that and then to turn around the next week, hey, I'm here with my coaching staff, and yeah, let's go, let's make it happen, Chicago, let's get it. And then you took some of those guys, you took some of the Lions staff with you. So it's like, y'all talking about it, getting the ideas in your head to do all of that while you still are supposed to be going all in and being 100% focused on the Lions. So that's why I'm saying it's better to deal with all that when the season is completely done, instead of making those kind of plans and moves and interviewing and doing all that stuff. Yeah, man. We got the playoffs coming up, and I got 5 interviews this week along with, no, man, ain't no, no. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I just feel that should change. So, but like I said, nonetheless, Lions did best they could do. But I will say this, and I'll say this again: the Detroit Lions should have, and I said it all the year before, they should have drafted Jalen Carter. I know Jahmyr Gibbs doing everything he
Woo,
doing,
man.
but I feel they should have drafted Jalen Carter, especially seeing what he did in Philly. Should have drafted him. We could have drafted him. We could have drafted Jordan Davis. We had the opportunity to draft those guys. And we would have a legitimate stacked up defensive line, like some studs on that line. So, I mean, what happened to Hutch sucked for sure. But it's like, we need somebody that's going to be a legit game wrecker on that line. Waiting for McNeil to come back, he had an ACL tear. Like, my he's not gonna come back until like October. And even then, you still got to see what kind of game shape is he going to be ready to perform in, for real, for real.
I like
So
that dude. He
yeah,
played in the interior, right? Like
yeah,
tackle or something.
yeah, be a
Yeah.
D tackle. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So they signed, they re-upped on his contract. They gave him an extension. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm just saying. Like, solid players, but you need a game wrecking guy. I wish they could get Max Crosby or Miles Garrett or something like that, or maybe they could find a diamond in the rough in the draft or something like that, like that really can wreak havoc. May not have the reputation in college, but then you see something in him, and then he may tear it up. Who knows? So we just gotta wait and see. But all in all, Lions had a decent season. They had a great season. I don't give a care about them getting the number 1 seed going forward. They don't need to get number 1 seed. Just put up a good record. Have the core of your team and go after it next year. That's really where I'm at with it. But big ups to Philly though. You shown
Yeah.
a 4-man blitz. 4-man blitz. That's offense and defensive line interactivity that we need to see in Madden. But we'll get into that in a moment. But that right there, those brothers was woo. I mean, they look like the what was it, the Ravens, the what was that 01 Ravens and everything. Like, I mean, they were all over it.
It
It was
crazy.
crazy seeing them boys like work the way they worked it out there. So yeah, absolutely amazing, amazing. And I would love to see a pass rush. So just like how we see NBA 2K and you see the animated moments and plays where you see the real life play and then the video game and how they kind of blend to a degree.
Shout outs to
I
Shady.
want to see that. Yeah, Shady is the main one that would do that. But I would love to see Madden be in that same realm where it's like you could see the pass rush over here, and then you could line it up with Madden, and it's like that, or at least it's resembling it to some degree where the line is kind of getting blurred a bit, and then it's not there, man, and it just sucks, bro. It sucks, man. But that's my initial spiel there. Sorry, like first time getting back. It's been a minute, but I'm grateful to be back on. Grateful to be on here rocking with you guys.
Yeah, man, and I'll just touch on that too, and I'll lead us into the Madden topic. Changed my mind. We're not gonna talk about the game and the Super Bowl halftime show. I don't want to take so much time away from that. We saw what happened in the game. And like I said, I'll reserve the halftime show stuff for just casually talk about that at some other time. Listen, man, I don't have much to be happy about in terms of Smitty mentioned the Pistons. There's nothing for me to mention in regards to the Sixers. Nothing.
Well,
You know?
you can possibly get Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what
We
I mean?
need something because
real talk, that Joel Embiid process thing, they may have to end that process.
man,
Like, I mean,
it's a shame, bro. It's we'll get into it. We're gonna talk a little NBA.
Yeah.
The Steelers, is it Russell? Is it Fields? Y'all know my feelings on that, man. Listen, y'all know I have always loved Russell Wilson's game, him being the underdog. I love the moon ball that he throws. He was fantastic in Seattle. He's from my hometown, like literally the city I was born and raised in Richmond, Virginia. I've always been a fan of his. But I do not want to go into the season with the 36 going on 37-year-old quarterback. I just don't. As far as Russell Wilson. And I'm going to say this really quickly for people who watch this show that don't watch the Steelers shows that I do. It's time for the Steelers to invest in youth at quarterback. Try again. You missed on Kenny Pickett. We all know you got stuck having to draft him because bad succession plan for Ben Roethlisberger. But if you look around the league and you look at the playoff teams, I'll even throw Jared Goff in that mix. There's a common denominator. These guys were young, drafted, they're still young, and they've turned into franchise QBs. Some people try to exclude Goff by saying, "Oh, well, no, the Rams drafted him." And yeah, but he went to the Super Bowl with the Rams. Do y'all remember that? And now, still with his youth and still balling, he's the man in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson, CJ Stroud, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. There's this common denominator of the good teams. They took the time to find a franchise quarterback and build around that. I know the Steelers always find their way limping into the playoffs or not having a losing season. I know that's what Mike Tomlin does. Some people try to criticize him, but that's hard to do. But because of that, I know we're not always in position to draft one of those guys, but that's what I need us to do. I'm tired of the Band-Aid fix. Oh, let's just grab Mitchell Trubisky and see what he can do. Oh, let's grab Russell. And listen, no knock to Russell, but he's not the future.
He's not Russ. Yeah.
And he's not Russ. He's not
Right.
dangerous.
Yeah.
He
No.
gave us a little bit, he did, but he got exposed when he had to stand in the pocket. Because if you remember, when he was really good, Seattle, they had him on the move a lot. He's never been great just being in the pocket because of his stature. One, he kind of gets swallowed up in the pocket.
Yeah.
It's just, the nature of his game. But we gotta do something different. So I say all that to say, hey, I'm not opposed to re-signing Fields, 2-year deal, give him decent money, see if you can do something with him. And if you can't, you still are afforded the opportunity to draft a quarterback maybe in 26. That's what I would prefer them do, but we'll see. But outside of that, man, let's get into the Madden topic. I'm gonna start by saying this, Smitty, and I think I speak for Smitty and a lot of people in our community. I say our, I'm just talking about the sim guys, guys who are looking for authentic representation of the sports that we play. Football is what we're talking about tonight. Madden 25 is not a bad game, in my opinion. Listen, if you ask some of the tourney players, not to call names, but guys who lab, shout outs, guys like Relly and guys of that nature. I'm sure there's problems with the game from a game standpoint. I get it. But guys like us that play the games more simulation like, we don't encounter as many of the broken things because we're not, I'm gonna borrow Smitty's term, we don't Frankenstein situations. We don't, again, casual guys or tourney guys, this is not a shot. Y'all know I have respect for most of y'all. Some of y'all I know personally. What I'm saying is we don't make non-audibles. Like, I don't call a play and put this guy on this route, put him on that route, put this guy here. Right? We don't do that. So it's some stuff that we'll never encounter. I might not say it's broken because I've never seen that because I don't play that way. And the game might not be equipped to cover that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it might not be. But I say all that to say, us guys would say Madden's a pretty solid game this year. Is there things that we still want to see in the game? Of course. We're going to talk about pass rush here in a moment. But with that said, where we want to see the game go now with Boom Tech, with them seemingly getting rid of, I can't say 100%, but it doesn't seem like a lot of two-man stuff happens where it's overriding everything. We want to see now the trenches really get some love, where things really matter. I mean, we've been saying this for years, and I know, shout outs to Clint and team, I know that they are emphasizing weight and things like that being more of a factor, especially with Boom Tech, and you see it where momentum plays a factor and weight and position of body where you hit the player doesn't always mean attack. Like, I love all of that they're doing there. Keep building around that. But let's sprinkle some of that dynamic stuff in the trenches. I want to see the trenches be more dynamic, where it's a real fight. It's not just an insta shed or, oh, the guy won this animation. Let me see why he won, right?
Exactly.
Let me see that. Make the weight, angles, Smitty always said this years ago, leverage, like, make all of that stuff matter when it's man to man in the trenches. If they could get that hurdle, dog, Madden, to me, I don't think there's much you can complain about from a core gameplay standpoint if they make the trenches matter. Because, I'm going to definitely let Smitty rock out with this because he brought up this topic. But I'll say my last little piece here. The 4-man pass rush showed itself on the big stage. We saw it show itself on another big stage some years ago with the Giants. Remember when they introduced the NASCAR package? They have, boy, young Pierre Paul, Strahan, Uranura, I think I'm saying his name right, OC, and who was it? Justin Tuck. Oh my God. It was deadly. They won the Super Bowl with their 4-man pass rush, pretty much. We just seen it with Philly. Hey, Steelers fans, you see my Steelers stuff in the back. I know y'all watching. I didn't see it personally, but still curtain days. How did they win? With LC Greenwood and the boys.
Yeah.
Mean Joe Green, like that 4-man rush. They were unstoppable.
Yeah.
I get it, guys. We know it's a video game, but we got to be able to see that. Even, let's throw a bone even to Mutt. Let's say I'm playing Mutt, because I want the game that represents simulation principles in any mode.
Right.
Let's say I got these cards where I got prime JJ Watt, not TJ, but be TJ.
Right.
But let's say I got JJ Watt, I got Reggie White, I got whoever else, LT. I mean, the best of the best cards. I should be dominating that front. Unless my opponent has equal talent on the offensive side of the ball. However, even if he does, we should see the dynamic fight between the two, the A+ left tackle and the A+ pass rusher. Oh, TJ Watt happened to get the angle on him now. He can't recover. Oh, Reggie White, slap, bull rush. Again, the animations are there, but I think what we're saying, like I said, I'm about to throw it to Smitty. We want to see more physical body things play out with rating. It just make it dynamic, even if you got a tricker. Like, don't make it just because my guy's a 89 or a 99. He's always gonna. No. Because a weaker guy might get the right angle on him and push him out of the pocket.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to see, man. You shouldn't have to blitz so much. You shouldn't have to rely on, shout outs to SGN because he's right. Should not have to rely on X factor abilities that are absolutes to get TJ Watt to be TJ Watt. Or Myles Garrett or Hutch. Let's give Hutchinson some love. Hated seeing him go down, man, because quietly I was rooting for the Lions because of Smitty or just because of their story. It's like, man, I like to see them boys go back and get it. And it hurt me for them to lose in the first. I was like, no, man. No, it can't be no one and done this year.
You're right.
They did everything right. Like everybody thought last year, oh, it's going to be hard to get back. They did that and some. So it hurt me to see them lose in the first round.
Yeah.
Home field advantage, number 1 seed. But yeah, that's all I got on it. I'm going to throw it to Smitty, man. And Smitty's going to give y'all some comparisons from other games made by EA, how they can really throw this stuff into the trenches.
Yeah, because like the big thing that I would always make a point of emphasis about is, okay, we always make the points of reference with other games, like we talk about the animation of fidelity, in All Pro Football. Then we talk about physics and the way it looks in Backbreaker and all that stuff. And it's like, we pull from old Madden on PS2 days to make the points about throwing trajectories and depth in franchise mode and all that stuff. You know what I mean? That's what's up. But what I'm emphasizing on is the pass rush, because the Eagles basically did a 4-man blitz. You know what I'm saying? Like, their front four was cremating the Chiefs. And it's like, but that's the whole point, is seeing how things can organically happen in the game. That's the point. Okay. Excuse me. A player that would be lowly rated, like some of the players that the Lions were using, we know they would be lowly rated in Madden, but they still do serve a purpose, because as you saw, some of those dudes was getting sacks. Now, they weren't sacking the QB all day long and everything, but they were getting some sacks and they were getting some pressures, and that's without star power. And sometimes it wasn't always, it wasn't always a blitz.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying to the point is, and I made this point in the past. When you play FIFA and NHL, or or what's called now EAFC 25, excuse me, NHL 25. It's like, what I want to be able to see happen is I want the game to literally be able to tell me the story as to what happened here. NHL, if a goal gets scored on me or I score the goal, I can go back in the instant replay and I can look at the tail of how it all happened. I wasn't stuck in some 2-man animated sequence that I gotta wait for a dice roll to possibly overcome. No, Madden has that issue. See what I'm saying? It needs to be a lot more fluid and not so rigid. And that's the thing about it. So, like, when I'm talking about looking at a pass rush, right? I think back to when I was playing FIFA. I don't know what year. It may have been 18 or 20 or 21, something like that, I think. And playing in the manager mode, um, you know, had a player's agent reach out and say, "Hey, can you have my client, they want to be able to run. They want to get some time out there on the field." And I'm like, "Okay." So I look up the player, and it's like he's a 17 or 18-year-old kid on there, and they're, and it's like, if he gets the chance to be on the field, then it's like, give him some run, let him run a little bit, let him get some time out there. So I let him get out there and play. And the thing is, even with his low ratings, I mean, his ratings were low. Like, he was like a 50, 51 overall. So he didn't really have any skills at all, really. Like any traits, as they were called. But he doesn't get the gatekeeper effect when it comes to what he can and cannot do on the pitch. So it doesn't matter if it's Messi or Ronaldo in front of him, right? If my guy exploits the angle appropriately, if he exploits it, the game replicates it. It showcases it. If he commits too hard, if I do I don't know, maybe do a basic dribble move, and he commits to the left while I'm going to the right, the angles are respected, the ball physics are respected, the player physics are respected, the player's momentum and positioning are respected, the limbs, all of it. It's all respected. So if he's out of position, it's like, oh snap, I got him leaning. Now I'm about to take this angle and shoot this goal. And even when it comes to FIFA tournaments, same deal. I see people do trick moves and all that stuff, but you're not, the control isn't, you're not stuck with the controls. It's
Right.
free. So if you don't defend it the right way and he blows past you, or let's say he does a trick and he flips the ball up over your head, and you just so happen to try and slide tackle or whatever, if you're not in the right position to get to the ball, but he is, and you could go back to the replay and see it and say, how the heck? Oh, dang. All right, you know what? I just got to give it to him. He did his thing. And it's like, that's it, because the game literally shows you that. It's developed far enough to show you that. NHL, same thing. It's developed far enough to show you that. But Madden, for whatever reason, no, they just can't. It's just not possible. And that's what makes it so upsetting, because when you look at the way that the way that the pass rush was done in that dang on Super Bowl, that's as organic as it gets. And I mean, I know it's been happening all season long, but on the biggest stage for the biggest game, when people see that, it's like, bruh, you see how they attacked the line the way they did? That's what should be happening in Madden. Especially if you put it on simulation mode, that's what should be happening. Like,
yeah, you get the right matchup.
yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, look. A player doesn't have to be rated 99 overall to be able to stop somebody. He could be rated 50. But if you got that offensive lineman that's a 95, but then I got this 55 overall player on my team, and you in the goal, and I got this dude that's lowly rated, guess what? If I get the open chance to shoot, I can still score it on you. See what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what how that part's viewed. It's like, bro, build it. If it's built out and it's flushed out, and I could go to a replay and like, oh my gosh, dude, like look at how this play unfolded. I would love to be able to see in Madden where even if the offensive lineman has him covered, let's say somebody does a Dwight Freeney kind of move, hit him with that spin, and the animation's not tethered. So it's not, okay, you're going to win it this time and we're going to let you get the spin, but next time you're not going to get it. It's like, no, let it organically unfold. If a person is going to perform that swim slash spin move, then they better have the timing right based on the relative position of the O lineman.
Right.
That's how it should be. Hey, I'm going to do this trick flip where I'm going to flip the ball over the dude's head. You can flip the ball at any point in time. You don't have to wait until it's not a two-man animation. You can flip the ball up whenever. But if you do it at the right time, wrong time, they can interfere. It's not I'm pulled into an animation and I just got to act dumbfounded now. No. Like, if you catch them, you got to catch them off guard. That's the way it works. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I would love to see Madden where it's like, I got this dude that's a 60. Because look, everybody on that Eagles team that won, all those dudes are not 99 overall in Madden. Somebody's lower rated. But the point of the matter is, look at how they played, though.
Yeah.
Aware.
Mahomes is under pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like their defense as a whole, man. If you watch them throughout the season, like with DeJean and what's the dude, Blankenship, and what's the other the rookie corner? I forget his name. Mitchell. Like they play so disciplined on the back end.
Yeah.
CJ, what's his name? Gardner Johnson.
Yeah.
Like he comes from another team, but they. And I get what Smitty is saying, man. And the crazy thing about it, I'll just say this little piece. You see it in Madden and college football outside of the trenches. They have gotten better with allowing things to play and not being so drawn together. And like guys I haven't really seen anybody zip to the ball to knock it down, or if their back is turned, they can't make a play.
Yeah.
But the trenches is still too dependent on the two people doing this, locking together. Because I even want to see a Smitty to where, and we've been saying this for years, none of the stuff y'all hearing us say is new. I even want to see defenders look for the ball like they do in real life. Even D linemen, like Steeler fans, Cam Hayward. Cam decides where to go based off of where he see the ball is. He doesn't just go into the guard or go into the center. And then, no, he's looking. Oh, I got to get over here. Let me shed this dude. They're always tracking the ball. And how many times they've gotten a little bit better with it in this year's EA games, but it's still times where you be running and the defensive player and the offensive guy are still just looking at each other. It's not dynamic enough. It has to be more dynamic.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like Smitty said, I don't want to just see animation win just because, or just because of a dice roll. And again, guys, we understand video games have limitations, but when you're able to see these type of things represented in other games, and it ain't just Madden, by the way. I'm gonna just throw a quick little shot. 2K suffers from it too. They suffer from it too. Cause I've been playing a little 2K here lately. You know, my son, him being into basketball and all that, he's always like, Dad, come on, Dad, play me in 2K. And here's the funny thing. He done built this roster with, you know, they got the celebs in the games. Like he got Drewski on his team and, you know, all these different people cast and they all 99 overall, right? He got a 99 overall Shaq that shoot three, A+3, and he always trying to challenge me and like, because I any other time I beat him and all that, but he like, no, play me now. And I'm like, dude, first of all, even if you winning, you you're you have 99s overall and they're doing unhuman things like fadeaway threes from deep, almost half court shots. And it's fun, right? So whatever. I say all that to say, as I've been playing it more, even playing the CPU, 2K still has moments where they lock you into these situations. It's the same thing. It's not free flowing at all times. There's times where you drive to the basket and they slow you down to allow an interaction. I seen a play the other day I'm playing. They slowed me down. My guy was going up for a dunk. They slow him down to allow the defense to get there and then change his shot. And I'm like, what are we doing? Dunk it. If you make it, you make it. If you miss it, you miss it. But you still see in situations where they'll draw you together or they'll make the defense super sticky. No matter what you do, you can barely get by them. And that's what we're saying. It's not just beating up Madden. You know, 2K suffers from the same problem. And 2K, you know, arguably we could say is one of the better games. Some people say it isn't. I know a lot of people who think 2K is not good. And then you have people like Shady Mike. What's up, Shady? Creating sliders to reduce some of that unnecessary contact and some of the unnecessary like stickiness on defense and makes it feel more fluid and realistic. But again, man, for as good a job that I think EA has done with college football 25 and Madden 25 in terms of it being, in my opinion, step up from 24, 23, 22. It's the trenches that still has not gotten. Honestly, man, and maybe Smitty could fact check me here. They haven't really addressed the trenches for real since way back when it was in the article saying new trench animations,
Oh
300
yeah.
plus cap. I don't think they have focused on trenches since then. So it's just time to take all of that, the other stuff that you're doing away from the trenches. It needs to translate in the trenches.
Yeah.
Limiting the 2-man animations and all of that and make it 1-to-1. And there you go, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep. So that's the main thing that I got for it, though. I mean, like, because the games are won and lost in the trench. That game literally was won in the trenches by the
Absolutely.
Eagles and
Absolutely.
lost in the trenches by the whatchamacallit, by the Chiefs. So it's like that needs to be emphasized more than anything. Like if Madden 26 was gonna have a thing, it would be it should be that, to be quite honest, because that's how this game was lost. The trenches. Literally the trenches. The trenches and QB pocket presence.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Those two big elements would be something to truly emphasize for this year's installment of Madden.
The Eagles defensive line should be the cover athlete.
Yeah, real
That would be
talk.
smooth. The whole defensive line.
Because remember Madden 15, they did LOB. They put Sherman was on the cover, but in the game they had everybody else in there. You know, as a shout out to the whole team, the defense especially. So it's like real talk. Yeah, that front four should be that should be the cover athlete.
Man,
those front four on the line, because like that was woo.
It was a beautiful thing to see, man.
Oh yeah, of course.
It really was. It really was.
It reminds me so much of Backbreaker before the Great House Patch, what that was, and to see that. And it's like that's the closest that we've had to where it's like you could have a great rated player, and it's the system that they had. You had player ratings, but then you also had form. You could be a high rated player but have poor form. So that low rated defensive end or whatever could possibly get around you a bit more often. You know, it's like in a way they kind of shown that realistic dynamic, that tug of war, so to speak, of it. Yo, who's this guy? Because remember, Richard Sherman, there are NFL players that started off very low rated and then they came up. Wouldn't it be cool to have a game that's organically dynamic enough where you could legitimately see the value of a player and it not be a hard-coded, tethered, he got to have this ability. He's got to, how well does he engage in two-man anthems? Like, and once again, we get it. Well, understand this point. We get it. You know, this case for any devs, Clint, anybody that, if anybody sees what we're talking about, what we're saying is FIFA, all these sports games have two-man anthems in it. But what I'm saying is how they're able to blend in and out. It's like with NHL and FIFA, it's like a turnstile. Like you're in and out, in and out, in and out. Your control is not compromised. Madden, you're in handcuffs. And that's why we celebrate Boom. That's why we give such a big shout out to Boom Tech. Because that's like an organic element. Because you're talking about the hit. We're not talking about how the two-man animation sequence plays out between two. No, we're talking about hits. So it's like a dude could get hit. Your guy could be standing still. And we've had to play. I've had it happen. I'm in rock. It's happened. It happened during the season and everything, where he'll catch the ball, turn around, defender comes with full steam momentum, and they collide, and Amon Ra is still standing up. And he's able to run because he just kind of leaned into the contact.
Yep.
And then he's able to stand up and keep going.
And that actually happens.
That happens. Yeah. And that literally happens. And it's in the game. So it's like, that's sort of the stuff I'm talking about. So like, that is like, yes, give that to the trenches. Expand that territorial horizon. And that's now we're cooking.
You out of here if you do that.
Dude, and then see when you build it from that point onward. I mean, I get it. You start off with it as game development. I get it. You got to start in certain areas and expand. I would love to see Boom Tech go beyond that and go as far as how wide out DB interaction is, how you know, of course, tackling, but also how the trenches are played. Like I said, I would love to see angular exploitation actually be a thing because it's a thing in football. Jaden Daniels wanted to scramble against the Eagles. They were highlighting plays and shouting out Jalen Carter because they were legit containing. He was setting the edge. So that way, when he tried to run, even if he tried to run, they collapsed it. They made the pocket wider. So then, if he tried to go outside, he like, no, I'm over here. So if you try to go outside, it's going to be difficult. But then if you try to come back in the pocket, now they're collapsing.
They collapse it. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like we ain't got none of that in Madden. None of that. But it's happening there. And I could see that being a real possibility because of what's done in FIFA and NHL. We ain't got to talk about 2K5 or APF or any of that. You have games in your own house that you got, like, you got emphasis of zone pressure in NHL. Because if they're on one side of the ice for so much time, that pressure gauge goes up and up and up. It's like, bro, can you give us something like that, but give it to us in Madden? It doesn't have to be a pressure gauge, but I'm saying, like, let us see the story of the grind. Let us see what happened. Show me that in Madden. And it's like, y'all can do it because you have it in these other games. I'm not saying it's as easy as 1, 2, 3, but borrow the tech from these guys. If it takes you a game or two to fully implement it, okay, but it's like, implement it. Do it. Like, y'all got the capability. I don't know, act like you can't. Y'all can, man. They just got, and I mean, Similar, we talked about all the politic thing and everything like that. I get it. We get the standpoint of the devs got to be allowed to do it. We get that part. Obviously, they don't run EA; they work for EA. But in a perfect world, I would love it where they could just be like, "Let's borrow it. We borrowed the tech from so and such and such, and now, boom, trenches." War. I know we had War of the Trenches before. This is Trenches. This is the revamp trench, along with Field Sense and the continual development of Field Sense. Now we've expanded it even further to the trenches. Here's Trenches introducing. I know we had War in the Trenches back then, but this is Trenches 2.0.
Yeah.
Right. And then boom. Now organic, angular play, all of that, because you got players, and I made this point years ago. You have players, even looking in the preseason, that will make plays like they're a 90 overall, but it's like, no, it's just football instinct. Like, if a DB who is on the outskirts of even making a team gets an INT because he was reading the quarterback, he saw the receiver. He had a beat, and guess what? The receiver tries to play chicken, throws it to that target anyway. He makes a read on the ball, and he just hawks it down and snatches it. Takes the proper angle, boom. It's like, yeah, but in Madden, it's taboo. Oh, that guy's 60 overall. He ain't gonna be able to do none of that. And it's like,
man.
but he should be able to.
Basic
He's on
instinct.
the NFL field. They should have that level of instinct, just like the Eagles. Like, once again, that point, everybody ain't a 99 overall, but how come these dudes was, I mean, as soon as Mahomes even passed the line of scrimmage, they all like, I mean, reaching 2-3 arms, reaching to grab the guy. It's like, yeah, I would love to see that. I would love to see, and see, even something like that. That's going outside the realm, but I'm like, that would be in franchise mode game planning for a QB. Oh, this dude loves to scramble, so I'm gonna prep my team this week for him scrambling. So if he come out that pocket, oh, we reach tackling like a mug. We gonna claps down on that. But still, I'm just saying, you guys have the tools in the building to be able to put that game together like that, because we see it in these other EA products. So it's like, I would love nothing more than to see that be done by EA. Look at what's done in college football and how great that game is. And it's a great game.
It's a
It's a
great
great game.
game.
It's a
But
great game.
the whole
But go
point
ahead.
that we're making, even in that, and some of you guys might have saw my stream the other night, playing on Heisman. And I sent did I send a blitz? Or was it? Yeah, I sent a blitz because the QB still reacted to it and he bailed out. Sent a blitz. My middle linebacker is in the gap all alone. And guess what happened? And I rarely see this, but because that code is still there a little bit, he veers off and goes into the tackle, the guard or the tackle to get blocked. And I'm like, see, that's what we're talking about. Even that little piece of dynamic. Use the angle. The quarterback is right there. Just run through there. But it's because of still, even though they've stripped a lot of it away, there's still these moments, particularly in the trenches, where it's matching up animation sequence. So it's gonna make him get blocked. That's what we're saying. You got to free that up because away from the trenches, you're seeing more one-to-one animation,
Right.
more free-flowing things, but the trenches is that last piece, man.
Yeah, man.
And that's like I said, you know, I think we covered it pretty good, man. The Super Bowl was on full display and just showed you what a dynamic four-man pass rush, the implications it can have on a game and the outcome of a game. Where that boy Mahomes looked like a track star in that game. It was sad, man. He couldn't even do nothing. Just on the run all night.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. But that's how it's supposed to be. Honestly, that's how it's supposed to be.
That's how it's supposed to, yeah.
Philly's defense had the reputation all year, and I think they ended the season the #1 D. I loved it, man. And I didn't have a dog in the fight. You know, it would have been cool. I like Mahomes. I like Andy Reid. It would have been cool for them to set a record. But it was also cool to see a team like Philly that's kind of that, you know, blue collar type of roughneck type of squad, you know, Philly. And they came in there with the solid defense and they shut down Mahomes.
Yeah.
Like, can't be mad at that. Dominated. So to me, as a real football head, I love that to see. Again, I'm being biased here, but it's almost like when the Steelers, the last time we won the bowl against the Cardinals, with the #1 defense, we were supposed to do that. So it was cool to see them go in there and dominate. James Harrison getting that interception and one of the longest plays in NFL history. But then it's funny if you know the story, how dejected they were when they gave up that slant to Fitzgerald. They thought the game was over with 2 minutes left, and then Ben does what he does. But to me, that's how it's supposed to be. Even if I wasn't a Steelers fan, you got this defense that's touted. These are them. They supposed to go in there and do that. The 2000 Ravens, they were supposed to go do that. So I wasn't mad at it, you know, and stuff like that needs to show up in the trenches in the video game. If it's a simulation, you got to try your best to be able to replicate that. We know it's not real life, but you got to find a way to replicate that somehow.
Yes.
So that's all I got on it, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, guys. I mean, that was a really solid topic. I guess, you know, we'll spend a little time on the NBA topic, man, before we shut it down. I'm gonna definitely throw a lot of it to Smitty, man. Y'all know me. I'm an NBA fan of the Sixers, but I'm not as hard. Funny thing, Smitty, I hadn't talked to you in a while about outside of the gaming stuff. I done almost turned into a basketball dude a little bit, man, dealing with my son. You know, with him,
yeah.
you know, with
He
Mason
involved.
playing, you know, AAU and school. He's only 11, but like I'm in the practices. Like I'm starting to be more into the X's and O's, if you will, of basketball more than I used to be.
Yeah,
You know, like I played when I was young too, but I didn't play basketball long. I probably played through like 6th, 7th grade, and after that, it was all football. I played baseball, but being around him and seeing that he's actually can play, and some of the kids around him, like, yeah, I'm into it a little bit now. So I can't even use that more and say, oh, I'm not really the basketball guy. But like I said, Smitty by far more than me. So we just want to talk a little bit, man, about the state of the NBA and how weak it comes off even after All-Star. I'll say my piece, and I want Smitty to take most of the floor. It's I'm gonna go with a slightly different narrative because I know Smitty's gonna kill it with the hardcore topics. To me, it ain't just now. It started for me. Maybe 5-6 years ago, maybe 7. I'm not gonna put the blame on Steph Curry, right? I'm gonna defend him really quick. I know a lot of people try to say, "Oh, he ruined the league." I'm not gonna say a dude ruined something because he's uber talented.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this dude,
Yeah.
this dude is, by the way, is obliterating the 3-point record. Like we knew that when he said it, that he was gonna put it so far out of reach. He's still going. He might be the greatest shooter we've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that guy ruined the game. What ruined it is everybody acting like they can do that.
Right.
And that to me, it's just basketball has been tough to watch over the last several years. I'll even use Embiid really quick. Man, if this dude would just play or would have just played like another brother that was from Africa.
Oh.
Imagine him playing like Hakeem. Which he's capable of doing.
Yeah, he's done it.
And then, every now and then you want to mix it up, bring him outside of the box, bring him up to the post, high pick and roll, but the main ingredient should be throw it down to Embiid. If he gets a double team, he's going to look to kick it out. If he don't, like Shaq would say, it's barbecue chicken time.
Yeah.
He could be as dominant. Well, let me catch myself before I say this. I'm going to phrase it the right way. From a skill and finesse standpoint, he could be as dominant as Shaq was. And I'm just talking about fear of like, man, we can't stop him down here. Not the dominant force that Shaq was.
No.
But he could be that type of guy. Like, dog, what are we going to do with him? If we double him, he's got a couple shooters around him. If we don't double him, it's an instant bucket. And man, if Embiid would just
free
play,
throws too. He
can shoot free throws.
So it's like if you foul him, you know what I'm saying?
But everybody wants to play away from the ball. I'm experiencing it with my son's team, man. Watching them, and I'm like, most of these kids, some of these kids, man, at 11, they already like 5'7". They tall, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't they? No, hold on. Why don't they let the big kids play like big kids? It is a kid that he plays with now that was on his team last year. He actually plays on a different team. Seeing him with a different coach, because, just to give y'all some quick history, my son is in the 5th grade and those kids are in the 6th grade. And he's been working out with 6th and 7th graders in their practices because the coach is taking a liking to him until they start their season next week. But seeing this kid now that he's playing like a big man, I mean, the boy is going to work.
Yeah.
And it's like, why don't they? It's like they don't even teach the big kids to play big no more. All of them, even him, they all stepping out at the 3-point line. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
That's not. And I'm getting off the point, but that's why, to me, the game has become a little weak. Nobody wants to bang. Nobody is using it. I mean, even, is it fair to say this, Smitty? And please correct me. Wemby uses his size because he's tall.
Okay, right.
He ain't. You ain't afraid of him down in the paint, other than the fact that he's 7, whatever he is. But and he's a thinner guy, so I don't expect him. But what I'm saying is, there's very few guys that play in the box that you like, yo, how we gonna stop this dude? Even Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is another one. That could be, who's stopping him down in the box is as smooth as he played. But he don't want to do that. He out here shooting threes.
Yeah.
It's tough for me to watch, man. It's I like it because I like sports, but I can't keep watching dudes jack up in a given one game this year. I forget who it was. They shot 83
Mhm.
83 3-pointers in one game, man.
Yeah.
Combined. 83.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even believe that stat. I'm looking at it like, what?
But see, you know what's so funny though is that some of the final scores you see of these games are just like how it was in the 80s,
Yeah.
where they literally were as two combined teams, they took no more, like they would take no more than maybe 10 or 11 threes.
Come on, man. You
For
had a
the whole
3-point
game.
specialist. Or
Yeah,
2.
yeah, yeah,
Everybody won't
no,
shoot them.
yeah, yeah, like right, like everybody wasn't just firing it up or whatever. Like every once in a while, you had a guy like Sam Perkins. That's what I was trying to think of.
Oh,
Sam
yeah.
Perkins. You know what I'm saying? Who would shoot a 3 ball at that position. He had the touch, but usually your big was shooting outside shots. They weren't really stepping out to the 3. Olajuwon, even though he had the touch, he would shoot one of those threes if they were up by like 30.
Right. Yeah.
And they gave him the ball, and it's like deep in the shot clock, and they're like, somebody shoot it, and they're just kicking to him. And like I saw a game where he literally did that. He just got it in the corner and he let it rip and it hit. And this is like, hey, you know what I'm saying? But that's not something you took. See, there's nobody that's scared of any of those guys. Yes, Wemby unfortunately had the what was it, the blood clot or
Yeah,
whatever it was.
man. I hate to
But
hear that.
he was gonna be defensive player of the year this year.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's like he's getting those blocks, but there is no real fear. Ja dunked on him. I mean, and he was there. Like, my man was there, and he just went straight up. And I mean, anybody could get yammed on. I get that part. But what I'm saying, though, is just that there's no force where they're scared or concerned about it at all. It's not like that. Like Iverson got all the injuries all up and down his body that he had because he was going in there.
He was the man. That's why
He
he's
was
one of my favorite players of all time, man.
yeah.
Just that
And
mentality.
but and even players were swapping stories with, talking about AI like that. He's like, sometimes they were seeing AI. Sometimes he would slow up, shoot floater, alter how his approach to taking the layup, because he ain't trying to get bowed. He ain't trying to get midair clothesline, get popped in the neck or head trying to go lay it up. So it's like he was being mindful, even with taking all that contact he took.
Yeah.
He still was being mindful of how these bigs work, because he was concerned. He may have made it look like he was completely fearless, but no, he was concerned.
Yeah.
He
Touched
had
up.
to be, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He had to be a bit careful. So I'm saying it would be awesome to see a team go outside the box, and do that, because like I said in the past, when the Pistons won in 04, they unconventionally won it. They didn't have a superstar. When that was the NBA where you're supposed to be running up and down the court, you're supposed to have your 2 stars. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to win, it's got to be the Shaq and Kobe formula. It's got to be the Jordan Pippen formula. It's got to be the, you know what I mean? Like, you got to have 2 stars. It's got to be Drexler and Olajuwon. It's got to be those. You got to have that as a requirement in order to win. And it's like, no, honestly, the only all-star we had was Ben Wallace. That was it.
Yeah, my
He
man
was
Ben
really,
Wallace.
you know what I'm saying? And I mean, now she didn't give a care about the accolades, but if he really wanted to be that guy, he could have. But they played as a team, and you got all these guys competing as a team, and they slowed the game down and made you play their style. And they would overwhelm people with the defense and their offensive tendency. So their defense turned into their offense as well. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when you look at the NBA now, it's passionless basketball for the most part. And this is to the point that I'm getting at. When you got PK
Yep.
Subban, and I know some people may have gotten their feelings because who's this hockey guy to say that? He made valid points. He's speaking as a fan. He's sitting up here and saying people are paying all this money. Now, he was talking about the All-Star game, but he's like, people are paying all this bread. The stadium wasn't even sold out. And that's usually not the case. All-Star weekend, it's like everything is sold out for that. Like the passion's not there. Dudes should be competing, man. Dunk contest. It's All-Star weekend. Not maybe someday I'll have the potential to be the backup to an All-Star weekend. Because Mac McClung, all due respect to the young man, but he'd be lucky to crack a starting rotation
Right.
toward the end of the season for a team that ain't going nowhere or a team that's secured their playoff spot and they resting folks. He's not about to be him.
Yeah, because I
You
don't
know,
even know his game. Yeah, I just know he
right.
dunks, but like I don't even know is he skillful at all, like just as a player or
That's the thing. From a draft standpoint, like back from draft, they said he should have never came out. He wasn't ready.
oh, okay.
So, but he had got an agent and everything. You know, when you get an agent in the league, your eligibility is shot. So you got to go. So he fortunately he got drafted, but he didn't have the game as of yet. And that's the thing. I mean, I don't know. Looking at G League stuff, yeah, G League, okay, but he's not him. And that's what I'm saying. It's like real talk in a minute. They might as well just pull the dunk contest. They might as well just pull All Star Weekend, All Star Sunday. Skip the game
Yep.
because I mean, you got Kevin Durant even saying that. It's like, yeah, there's no passion. There's no desire to go after it. And I see the NBA trying to do it. Hey, we're going to put this team of youngins together and we're going to put them up against the OGs. Let's see them take a break on that. And it's like, of course they not, because they be like, they'll get embarrassed if they were to take that L. But it's like, that's not what the All-Star game. Okay, that's not what the All-Star game is supposed to be like.
No, man.
It's not supposed to be like that. That's not, it should be passion. Y'all playing with passion. My man said, it don't matter if you get paid hundreds of millions of dollars, all that's cool. Get your bread. If you make that bread, go out there hurt. Go out there sore. Compete. You got no problem throwing your body into a big man to dunk it. Get on that contest. There ain't nobody there. Oh, I don't want to hurt myself. I'm only going to compete if I win. Man, get your butt out there. You acting like you didn't hoisted the Larry O'Brien trophy before. You may not even get the chance to do it. I'm only going to compete if I win. Like, get out of there. Get out of here with that, man.
It's a shame they
So,
kept throwing back to the Kobe All-Star, that's a shame that they kept
oh,
going back
yeah.
to that, saying
Yeah.
how bad he wanted to win against Mike. Like, that's what it
Yeah.
should be.
But that's what it should be, though. See, that's what I'm saying. Kobe was the last ambassador. He was the face of the NBA. So, of course, they followed his lead. He's like, yo, I'm going after, I don't know what y'all loafing around. I'm going for it. LeBron ain't going for it. I mean, to be quite honest, as crazy it is to say, sidebar point, but maybe this could be a topic for another show, but LeBron really doesn't have an era. His era has literally been littered with everybody else winning. He doesn't have an era. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really think about it,
That's
he
an
doesn't have an
interesting
era.
one.
that's something we can elaborate on that further, but on another show. But I'm just saying I would like to talk about that because he doesn't have
let's
an
not
era.
forget that one.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it. Maybe the next show we'll do that or something like that. But he doesn't have an era. Like if you really look at it, like yeah, he got the numbers and the stats and everything. He got stats for days, but he doesn't have an era where he truly ran the league. When Jordan did it, Shaq and Kobe did it, the Celtics did it, but nah. So, but
Yeah, we'll dive into that.
we'll dive into that.
Because
So
I know what some well, I'll say them. I know what the case some people are probably gonna make. And yeah, well, let's definitely talk about. I'm sure people are gonna say, well, what about the 10 consecutive trips? That's what people are probably gonna say. But I want to dive deeper into that,
yeah,
like
we'll that's what I'm
dissecting it.
saying. We'll
Yeah.
we'll definitely dive into that. So that we'll say that'll be for next time, or maybe next time we'll the next time we'll do that. But
yeah,
but no, I mean it's just at the end of the day, players just to wrap up the point, players are not playing with passion like that. And what I mean is it's not that they're not talented enough. They're beyond talented enough. But the league should be ran by the players and the way that the players choose to play. Yeah, you're coached, of course, but the passion of how you're being coached, that culture should be reflected on the court. Regardless of all the analytical talk, oh yeah. Listen, if you let these players play offense or defense, if you're a defensive guy, if you're an offensive guy, let those people play and showcase that passion out there on the floor. Bro, oh man, league would be humming right now. You know what I'm saying? Because when dudes up here say, and just an all-star weekend point, and I'll finish it with this. If y'all talking about something, I'll get in the dunk contest if you put $1 million on the line. Josh said that. And it's like, bruh, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar entered the dunk contest so y'all can have the opportunity to get the money that y'all got. Y'all, there would be no super maxes if it weren't for Elgin Baylor and what's his name? Willis Reed, I think my man's name is, from back in the day. Or John Lucas or any of those guys like Walt Bellamy and the likes, Lenny Wilkins and all these other players, Doc Rivers and everybody, all these players that played beforehand, Mark Prices and all those cats, Tom Chambers and all that, Mark Eaton and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, for real, like these are the people, Larry Bird, all that, Kevin McHale and all them. These guys are the reason why the game elevated to a point, and then somebody else took the reins, and then it continued on. And it's all the different positions. So it's like, in order to get there and say, man, the only way I'm giving effort, man, I gotta get paid. Are you kidding me? Jordan completed in the dunk contest after he tore his ACL or whatever, that injury he had. Yeah. He only played 18 games, and he still came back and got in the dunk contest. He didn't win all 5 times. He won it twice. He competed 5 times.
That's so it's whack, man. To me, like, and the last comment I'll even have on it is that's the main knock that I always will have against LeBron.
Never got in there.
Again, guys, listen, LeBron has been a great player. I'm not taking that away from him. But me personally, my era of watching sports, it seemed like the guy always entered the dunk contest.
Yeah.
Jordan, even Dominique. You know, even dudes like Drexler, you know,
Yeah.
Kobe, you know,
They
Vince,
were household names.
Harold
But
Miner. Like, how does LeBron James not enter the dunk contest? Even you could have won it with power. Your blueprint was Dominique.
yep.
You didn't have to be the super finesse dude because you're a big guy. You could have just been yamming it.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, bro. I mean, this was years ago.
Yeah,
When you
yeah, yeah. Not
18,
now,
19,
obviously, but
20,
yeah.
21, 22, 23, you
Yeah.
never entered the dunk contest. And that's why, like you're right, Ja, you got to do it. Come on, Ja Morant. Come on, brother.
Yeah.
You know, I need one of these household young boys to do it. Like,
They're calling on Mac McClung. I know the NBA basically put the bug. They put the bug in the ears of the NBA of their teams and say, get him a 10-day contract. Call him up so he could technically be on your team, so he could get in this dunk contest. Because that's what he said. He already said. He said it last year. Man, I'm done doing the dunk contest. I'm finished. What does he say? I mean, I'll do it if the NBA asks me to. Yeah, because he has zero sustainability in the league right now. So it's like, yeah, like that gives me notoriety. I'll do it. But it's like that's sad. That's what it comes down to.
that's bad. It's real
Yeah.
bad,
So,
man.
but
Hmm.
hey, it just sucks because it is what it is at this point, man. But that's what I'm just saying. No passion in that thing, man. So that's why the numbers are down, the viewership's down, and these cats just want to get paid all this bread. And it's like you're just completely spitting in the faces of Dr. J and Kareem and even Jordan and all of them, because these are the people that set the stages for y'all to be those guys to get that money. And y'all loafing. So, nah. But
yeah, man.
that's it, man.
It's bad.
Yeah.
But guys, I gotta run. I was telling Smitty I gotta run, got some things I need to handle. Happy to be back. And we got so much to bring to you guys. The topics will come to us as we remember. We undisputed, you know,
Yeah.
ESG, NFL 2K arcade. Where's that?
Right.
More basketball. And I think, you know, kind of conversing with Smitty, I think we're gonna do more, talk about more regular stuff too, like regular sports, or maybe every now and then we might throw in a topic, a world topic, just to give y'all a mix. Because I've heard y'all's feedback. A lot of y'all have said, "Hey, man, we'd be interested to hear some of you guys' opinions on said things." However, there's some things we probably won't dive into because this ain't the forum for that. But I mean,
Right.
like regular stuff. Like if we want to joke about, and I don't want to say joke, I don't want to offend nobody, but if me and Smitty wanted to have a joke about what's going on with Diddy. Maybe we'll talk about that, you know, stuff like that, but we'll still keep it. But
Oh,
some
see,
stuff
that'd be
we
kind of
ain't.
hard to keep that on the,
Yeah,
you
but
know
what I
what I'm
mean is we
saying?
won't go crazy. We might just
Yeah,
give
like
ourselves our opinions on the regular life, and we'll keep it like that.
right, okay, yeah.
But yeah, we got much more coming, man. Like I said,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
glad we were able to get something done tonight. You know, kind of the warm up, if you will, to come back. But we got plenty of things to talk about. If it's stuff y'all want us to talk about, you know where to find us on X. Our names have been the same forever.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it was good to come back. Like I said, a lot of these might be recorded going forward, but there will be times when we have opportunity to do it live. As long as we're getting some content out, because I know I'm humbled to say we've been missed. Y'all have said that every time I'm online, whether I'm streaming, I'm doing the Steeler thing. Hey man, what's up with you and Smitty? When y'all coming back? So hope y'all enjoy.
Oh
And we
yeah.
shall catch you guys in the next one.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace.